Hi everyone, welcome to the iSpring webinar series, where every week we talk about e-learning trends, share iSpring tips and tricks, and cover clients' cases. I'm Nadia, a community manager at iSpring, and I will be the moderator for today's session. And today's webinar is dedicated to the 6 steps framework for a profitable online course. And to understand this topic, we invited Marina Arshavskiy, instructional designer, e-learning consultant, and author. Hi, Marina. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for joining us today. Let me pass the mic over to you, Marina, to start the presentation.
Okay, so welcome to today's webinar titled The 6-Step Framework for a Profitable Online Course. My name is Marina Arshavskiy, and I'll be teaching this webinar today. So in this training, you're going to learn my exact strategy on how to create a successful online course that actually generates passive income for you. So first, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marina Arshavskiy once again. I'm a professional instructional designer and e-learning developer. I hold a master's degree in instructional systems design, and I've been creating online courses for more than 15 years. And since then, I help thousands of course creators design successful and transformational courses. And in addition to course creators, I worked with colleges, universities, top corporations, and federal agencies, both in the United States and abroad. And I've received a number of awards for my courses, including the Gold Markham Award and the top 100 Top Leaders in Education Award. And my work has been published in industry-leading magazines such as T&D Magazine, Training Mag, SHRM, California Management Review, and more. I'm the author of the best-selling Instructional Design for E-Learning, Essential Guide to Creating Successful E-Learning Courses book that's been used in multiple colleges and universities here in the United States. And I've also created a complete companion program for instructional design and e-learning professionals. So that's a little bit about me. So this training will be for you if you're looking for different ways to make passive income, but don't really know where to start. And this training is also for you if you already know how to create effective courses or are an instructional designer or a course creator, but feel extremely overwhelmed and confused because you just don't know how to monetize your courses. And this training is also for you if you're looking for exact steps to follow to create a successful online course that sells and makes you money. So I want to make this webinar super actionable with lots of tips and ideas and tricks that you can start applying to your course design right away. But before we get started, please let me know in the chat if you're already an instructional designer and just want to learn how to sell your courses, or if you're new to course creation and are looking for different ways to make passive income. So if you can just let me know in the chat, I'd appreciate that. Okay, I'm creating courses, new to course creation. Okay. Course creation, monetize, already 19, course creation, both. Okay, business. Okay, already instructional designer. Okay, so it looks like we have a mix of different skills, and some people are already instructional designers and they're just looking to monetize the skill, and other people, they're just getting started and they're new to course creation. So hopefully this session will help both types of people. So let's get started. So as I mentioned today, I want to share 6 easy steps to you can turn your knowledge and expertise into profitable online courses. We'll cover everything from selecting a profitable topic that sells to selecting a platform to make it easy to market and sell your online courses. So the 6 steps to creating a profitable online courses are picking a perfect course topic and ensuring your course idea has high market demand, creating compelling learning objectives, gathering your course content, structuring your modules, and creating a course plan, determining the most engaging and effective delivery method for each lesson, and then filming, recording, editing your online courses, setting up your online school, pricing your courses, and finally launching your course and marketing it. So as you can see, we have a lot to cover today. So let's go ahead and get started. So there are many reasons why you should create an online course, right? So here's just some of them. Scaling will allow you to go from one-on-one to one-to-many, and everyone wants to make passive income. So as instructional designers, freelancers, course creators, we know how to create effective courses that solve people's problems, but not all instructional designers know how to turn their knowledge about instructional design into profitable online course that constantly brings them passive income. And that's what we want, right? We want additional income that we can make on the side. So in the chat, please let me know why you want to sell an online course. Are you looking to become a freelancer, or maybe you're looking for some supplementary income? What is your main goal behind creating an online course that's profitable? Freelancer scaling. Yep. Supplemental income, passive income. Become a freelancer, would like supplementary income, passive income. Okay. Like additional income. Okay. Sounds great. So your first step in creating a successful online course that will impact lives is to determine whether you're on target with your course idea. If something is off or just not resonating with your ideal customer avatar, you need to know about that. So in the analysis phase, you want to look at your ideal customer avatar, or also known as ICA, and determining your target audience and making sure your idea is viable is the most important part of your course success. You don't want to be talking to someone who is not interested in what you have to offer. Because this will be a complete waste of time for both of you, for both your client and yourself. So this is actually this is the first step and the very important step. So for example, let's say you're teaching women how to eat healthy. So you don't want any man interested in bodybuilding in your community because they're not your ideal client and they will not buy from you. And even if they will buy, they will quickly realize that your courses are not a good fit for them. So to make a truly impactful online course, you need to understand your target audience and niche down as much as possible. So many people actually believe that niching down, if they niche down, they'll lose a lot of people, and as a result, they won't make any sales. But that's not true. In fact, it's the other way around. You want to niche down to target more people. And you've probably heard the phrase, when you talk to everyone, you talk to no one. So your ultimate goal is to create a persona for your ideal client, because without it, your product will be useless and your marketing efforts won't bring any results. So how do you conduct audience analysis? The first step is to research your competitors so that you can understand who they're targeting, how they're targeting, and most importantly, how do they attract their ideal clients? Why do people want to buy from them? This can be actually done in several ways. First, of course, you can simply Google your competitors by typing the keywords or your niche in the Google search box. You can only focus on, I highly recommend that you focus just on the first page of the results, and then click on each link and identify the ways and methods that they use to target people. So create a Word document for your competitors and try to analyze them as much as possible. Think about what type of lead magnet do they have? Do they offer any freebies? If so, what type of freebies do they offer? What kind of content do they put out? Is it mostly educational, promotional, or both? Do they have a blog or do they have a podcast? What social media channels do they use? What type of content do they put out on these channels? Do they have a Facebook group? Are there courses on similar topics? Are there any reviews on this topic? Do they have a testimonial for their work? What type of testimonials do they have? How many? So the more you can analyze your target audience and actually each competitor, the more you can analyze each competitor, the better it will be for understanding your target audience. And of course, another way to do research is by researching Instagram and Facebook groups. So search for relevant groups and then create a Word document specifically for each group, and then analyze the content that people are putting out there and the types of questions that they're getting. Some people think that they know how to do, let's say, amazing nails, or maybe they can make beautiful arts and crafts. But being good at something doesn't necessarily mean that you can teach the topic to others. So identifying your topic and finding a course idea is very important. I recommend starting with making a list of what formal and informal education you have. Do you have like any informal training? Maybe you've read a ton of books on a certain topic. What are your interests, experiences, struggles, challenges? Also, make sure you include your opinions, perspectives, or beliefs that you think could change somebody else's life or help other people make a decision. Maybe you follow a certain lifestyle that others may aspire to, and you have answers to questions that people have been looking for. So make a list of everything. Then look at your list and prioritize it in the order of what is more appealing to you, what you're comfortable with the most, and what is it that you're truly passionate about. So the goal is to combine things you enjoy with things you're truly good at, with things you have experience with. So everything else can be just deleted from that list. I'd like to use the DSR method with my clients. So the DSR method stands for define, solve, and research. And now that you have your course idea, you want to niche down even further, right? So remember, when you talk to everyone again, you talk to no one. So the first and most important thing here is to define the problem that people in your niche face. Then brainstorm how you can help them actually solve that problem. And think about ways you can help people. Maybe you have a unique perspective or strategy. Think about something. The word unique is important here because you don't want to be like everyone else. You want to be different. You want to try to stand out. So what is that strategy that you use? What is that perspective that you can teach? And then do your research. Learn who else teaches your topic, how they do it, what strategies they use, and what transformation they promise. So everything that I said before actually applies. And I'm seeing a question. Actually, I will answer the questions at the end, but the question says, what about video channels? For example, YouTube. Yes, you can search YouTube as well. It all depends on your niche. Some niches, they're actually more appropriate for Facebook, others are more appropriate for LinkedIn. And then yet others are more video based. So yes, you can search YouTube as well. So the more time you can dedicate for your research, the better for you. Okay, and step number 2 is creating your learning objectives. So now let me know in the chat if you're familiar with creating learning objectives and know how to make sure your objectives are actually measurable and observable. So yes, so as instructional designers, most instructional designers know how to create relevant objectives. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I'm just going to briefly cover some of the most important steps here. So now that you know who your ideal customer avatar is and you came up with your course topic, you can start thinking about your learning objectives, right? So when creating your learning outcomes, you need to ensure that they're measurable. If you don't have measurable outcomes, how will you know whether your students are actually learning anything? And how will you know that your program or course has been beneficial to them? By clearly stating what your students will get from your learning product or program, you will increase your chances of success, increase the chances of getting great testimonials and results, and reducing the likelihood of complaints, refunds, and bad reviews. So objectives are very important, even if you're not creating a course for a corporation, if you're as instructional designers, we know how important objectives are, but when you create your courses for sale so that you can sell them and make additional income, they're also very important. They're critical because they will help you make sales. So we won't talk about the objectives in depth, like I said today, but I want to quickly cover the most important things you need to keep in mind. So again, all objectives should include the 4 components. As you know, the ABCD should be written in the ABCD format, which is audience, behavior, condition, and degree. So the behavior element of the objective should state what the learner will be doing using action verbs to describe the behavior. Most behavior statements are worded as should be able to. However, many course creators actually prefer will be able to. While both statements are correct, I actually highly recommend using should be able to in your objectives. The will be able to statement automatically makes a promise, while the should be able to statement does not promise any definite results. And whether or not learners achieve the objectives depends on many different aspects that are not always under your control. For instance, learners may be distracted while taking the course, or they may decide that it's not for them, they won't be interested. So when writing behavioral statements and objectives, I think you should avoid using must be able to do something or need to be able to, will be able to do something, because you never know for sure. And you should avoid such verbs as know and understand, because they're not measurable and observable. And instead, as instructional designers know, we should focus on apply, identify, explain, because these are more measurable verbs. So for example, after completing this lesson, you should be able to use Thinkific to create an online course. Again, we don't know for sure if they'll be able to use it, but they should be able to. If they follow all the lectures and the instructions, they should be able to use the tool. Okay, so to ensure that your courses meet the desired instructional objectives, you want to start mapping various elements of the course: modules, chapters, lessons, activities, assessments to specific learning objectives. Okay. And now let's talk about the third step, which is identifying lessons and modules. So you know your ideal customer avatar, you came up with your course topic, you created your objectives, and you're actually starting to map out your content. So for each of the learning units that learners will be exposed to, your mapping will offer an overview of the competencies required, the topics that you will be discussing, the activities that you want them to perform. And I will show you how I do it in just a second on the next slide. So create your curriculum outline, create topics, and decide on the content type, key points, and prompts of which you plan to teach in each lesson. To do that, and that's how I do it, you'll need to take your sticky notes and organize them into columns. Each column will be a lesson in your course. Then move your must-know content sticky notes around so that each one is under the column it belongs to. Some columns will have more sticky notes, and that's okay. Now that you have what you'll cover in each module, just go ahead and reorder your sticky notes so that it makes sense, and then create a title for each module. So as you can see here, I have this pink sticky notes, and they're the titles for my modules. And then here in yellow, I have my must know content, so the topics that must be covered. And then here, I usually use a different color, and I basically include information that's more like on the nice to know end, that's not really required, or maybe some supplementary materials that I'd like to include. So if you're tech savvy and you don't want to use your wall for this, you can do the exact same thing on the Trello board. You can also organize your content in PowerPoint by dragging and dropping the slides. I actually like that a lot. And reordering, you can reorder them like under each lesson. I personally prefer the old sticky notes method because it just helps me visualize the course. But there are no set rules, and I tried the Trello option, and I tried the PowerPoint. If it's not my wall, then I'd go with the PowerPoint personally, but I know a lot of people actually like Trello. So in the chat, please let me know what tools you actually use or like to use to organize your content. I'm just curious to know. Mind maps, yeah, PowerPoint, Excel, okay, writing crafts, PowerPoint, old school pencil paper, yeah, Word document, whiteboard, Trello, okay. Okay, looks like everyone uses different tools, but looks like a lot of you are actually using PowerPoint. Okay, pen and paper, yeah, sounds good. Okay, so now you're in good shape with your outline, and so you're ready to actually script your course. So keep in mind that not all course creators need the exact script, and for many, a good outline is more than enough. But if you're camera shy or feel more comfortable and secure with the script, you can certainly write your content word for word and use a teleprompter to read your script. Again, there are no set rules, and most instructional designers, they're used to designing their courses and developing their courses, but they're not that often on camera, and most of the time they're not on camera. So if you just feel uncomfortable, then maybe you can use a teleprompter, and we'll talk about some other options for how you can be on camera or how you can create your courses later today. So, okay, so your step number 4 is developing your course. So you know your course topic again, you know the content that will go into your course, you've already created your learning objectives. So now it's time to actually develop your course. So you have the outline, so everything is ready to go. So there's several lesson types you can choose from, but the most popular options include presenting the slides with voiceovers without the video, doing a mix of slides and camera presence, and being on camera all the time. So other methods include creating interactive scenarios and screencasts. If you're just starting out, and you're not comfortable being on camera, I recommend either the first or the second method. Generally, you want to be on camera at least for the introduction and conclusion because you want to build trust with your audience, but it's also acceptable to have slides and audio on the courses, although not ideal. As you record more video and get more comfortable with camera presence, try to show your face at least several times throughout the course. And the last model, which is always being on camera, is another extreme I do not recommend, mainly because visual learners need to see what you're teaching them, and also because if all they see for hours and hours is your face, they may get bored and they may just eventually lose interest. And we know that lost interest equals poor retention rate. So if you're teaching how to do something or have maybe you have a tech training in your course, then screencasts are your best bet. They walk learners through the content and help them visualize what you teach. So really pay attention to your content, what is it that you're teaching, and then decide on the lesson type. Now, you don't need to purchase super expensive equipment to record high quality courses. And in fact, your iPhone and Android or an Android or even a tablet, if it's less than 2 years old, should be completely sufficient. So here is some additional equipment that I recommend. I strongly recommend getting a tripod stand and a good quality microphone. And if you want to be able to change backgrounds and settings, you may also want to purchase a green screen. So again, let me know in the chat if you've used any video equipment, if you have any experience actually doing video, and what equipment have you used? Okay, no experience either. Contagion works great. Yeah. No video, not yeah. Yeti microphone, that's the best one. And that's the one I use. Zoom to record. Yeah, Zoom is actually a great tool to record training videos. Laptop, webcam, GoPro cam. I haven't recorded. So like I said, if you're just getting started and you haven't recorded any video, you can just simply use your phone for that. That should be completely fine to begin with. And you don't need to have any fancy equipment. If you're trying to sell your courses, people are looking for your expertise. They're looking for your experience. They're not looking for the best quality video. And this is a little different than as instructional designers. A lot of us are used to creating these perfect courses because we sell them to corporations or corporate client. We have corporate clients who are looking for high quality video. When you're trying to make profit of your courses, when you're trying to sell them, that's not the most important thing. Okay. So let's keep going. So recording audio in-house is often associated with ambient noise, which adds distraction to the learning experience. In the environment where voiceovers are recorded, it should be quiet as possible. And obviously you'll be probably recording at home, so it may not always be possible, but it can partially be accomplished by unplugging all the machines and using a small room or a sound booth, and that can help you eliminate a lot of the noise. So the main job of a course creator is to design instructionally sound courses. And in most cases, course creators are not professional graphic designers. However, to make your lessons more visually appealing to learners, you should be aware of basic graphic design principles. That's important. Visually appealing courses, they draw learners' attention because no one wants to take training where they have to read pages and pages of text. And additionally, visual learners find graphics beneficial for understanding, analyzing, and processing information. However, simply adding images to your course will not really enhance it in any way. It's important that the graphic used in the course is relevant and appropriate to the topic. And there are different types of visuals that can be included, such as photographs, cartoons, animations, 3D images. Consistency plays an important role when it comes to selecting visuals. So, for example, using cartoonish drawings when most other photos are that should be avoided. So try to really stay consistent and make sure that your images are relevant and they actually add to the learning experience and they're not just there as decorations. I like to use Canva to create my slides. Canva, if you're not familiar with it, it's a graphic design platform used to create social media graphics. You can do presentations, documents, other visual content. It includes templates that you can use and customize and brand appropriately. But if you want to use something a bit more professional and don't want to spend hours and hours creating your slides, you may always invest in a graphic designer, but keep in mind that graphic designers can get expensive. And if you're just getting started and you don't have a lot of disposable money to actually spend on your course creation, then Canva should be just fine for your needs. So your step number 5 is actually setting up your course. So you've designed your course, you've filmed your videos. So what happens next? Where should you host your course? There are 3 options. You can do online marketplaces, learning management systems or LMSs, and website plugins. So first, let's look at marketplaces. You've probably heard of platforms like Udemy and Skillshare. Many course creators who are just getting started like selling their courses on these platforms because they already have audience. So potential buyers already know about these platforms. So you don't need to search for people. You don't need to do any marketing. Also, there is usually a lot of support available in terms of technology, and some of them even have graphic designer to help you with the cover image. Another benefit is that marketplaces usually have a standard landing page, and to create it, all you need to do is basically complete a form, and then your landing page will automatically be created for you. So it seems like a good deal, isn't it? But with marketplaces, you don't have control over things like refund policy, pricing, which means that they can discount your courses however they like. So sometimes instructors make as little as $2 or $4 for their courses. So why bother, you might wonder, right? Why sell your courses there? Well, with these platforms, you make money by selling lots and lots of copies of your course. And you can do that without doing any marketing work yourself. Because, like I said, there are already people who come to the site searching for courses, and these platforms do all the marketing themselves. So you don't need to worry about that. There are many instructors who actually became millionaires with Udemy. And many people like Udemy because there is a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into selling your course, such as writing copy, creating landing pages, creating opt-in pages, lead magnets, webinars, so on. With the marketplace platforms, all you have to do is create your course and collect the money. Personally, I recommend using these platforms as your lead magnet, meaning you put out a much shorter version, almost like a mini version of your course. And then if they like your content, then they can purchase your complete course for a much higher price. And a word of caution, you need to carefully read the policies, as many marketplaces do not allow you to market anything or have their own, they have their own rules about when and where you can actually share your website links or links to other products. And now the next option is the learning management system. And the one that I like the most, actually, I like several and I've used several to sell my courses. There are lots of LMSs out there, and iSpring can be one of them. iSpring is actually a good tool to create your courses. You can import your videos there. You can create your quizzes. So that's a great option. Another option would be Thinkific, Teachable, Kajabi, but they're more like LMSs that you can use to sell your courses. Kajabi is actually very expensive, so look at each of these platforms and in terms of how expensive they are and how much you can actually afford. But unlike the marketplace platforms, when you host your course on the LMS, you actually have the opportunity to set any desired price, so you can price it however you want. You can create subscription programs, memberships. You can create make courses more interactive, engaging. Like I said, you can add quizzes, interactivity if you want to. So you have more freedom, more options there. And that's what I actually do with my instructional design for e-learning program. I have a much shorter version on Udemy, and it serves as a lead magnet. If people take it and they like it, then they can purchase my complete instructional design for e-learning program. And the last option is a website plugin or software. Again, there are several options you can choose from. However, if you choose that option, you need to understand that it's the most tech advanced option. So if you're not great with technology, I really wouldn't recommend it. In essence, you purchase a plugin or a piece of software and upload it to your website. And this is a one-time investment, which is a good thing. And it definitely gives you a lot more freedom, but it basically leaves you on your own, meaning that you will have to deal with the setup, updates, and sometimes even coding certain things. Also, if things go wrong on your website or you need to fix something, there is a bug, the investment can be quite significant too. So if you're not a programmer or a tech-savvy person, I would stay away from these options. So in the chat, please let me know where you plan to sell your courses. Would you be interested in marketplaces or LMS or iSpring? A great option. Yeah. Connecting from website LMS. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. Sounds great. Okay, let's keep going. Now let's talk a little bit about pricing. So pricing is the hardest part for many course creators. Many course creators are actually afraid to price their courses high because they think that no one would buy from them. However, it's important to understand that you want to attract certain types of customers. So think about Walmart versus Nordstrom versus think about Toyota versus Lexus. Think about Giant versus Whole Foods. This goes back to your ideal customer avatar. These brands do not have the same ideal customer avatar. So think about yourself and your customers. Do you want to be a more luxury brand, or do you want to be known for selling cheap courses? Also, think about who you serve. Typically, if you sell your course for less, you may attract more customers. But if you price your course high, you'll probably attract less customers, but will still make the same amount of money at the end. For example, so let's assume you sell your courses for, let's say, $47 and 10 people buy from you. You make a total of $470. But if you sell your course for $497 and only one person buys from you, you essentially make the same amount of money. So it's all about who your ideal customer is and how you want to be perceived. Are you a luxury brand, or do you want to appeal to those who can't afford Whole Foods or Nordstrom's? And then keep in mind that pricing your courses too low may result in lots of customers who will be constantly emailing you, contacting you with a bunch of questions, and you may even end up needing to hire additional help, and you may not even be ready for that yet. And guess what? Obviously, attracting one person is a lot easier than attracting 10 people. So another important thing to consider when pricing your courses is whether your audience can afford your courses. For example, if your course is, let's say, $1,000 and you sell it for someone who runs a business, your chances of selling the course are much higher than if you're trying to sell a $1,000 course to a teenager, right? So when you price your courses, think about your worth. And all this education, the experience that you put into yourself, all this, hours and hours of training, additional training, reading. So everything must be considered. Think about how much you would how much would you actually pay to someone to share all this information with you when you needed that information. So think about that. A lot of people will actually pay you just because they don't want to do all this additional research. And as you think about the price tag for your courses, think about how much your learners will save by taking your course. For example, let's say your course is about doing their own taxes. Think about how much they'll save if they do their own taxes versus if they hire an accountant. And also think about whether your course will help people earn more money or start a new career. For example, if you're teaching Java programming, you can probably charge more than if you just basically, if your course is about, let's say, cooking delicious dinners for your family, because after completing your course, the learner will be actually able to either go out and get a job as a Java programmer or ask for a pay raise at his current job. So that's important to consider as well. Now, step number 6, which is launching your course. That's the last step. So you're almost there. You've recorded your course, you're ready to get it out to the world. And it's important to understand that there is a lot that goes into launching your course, and launching takes lots of prep time. There are several ways to launch your course. You can do cart open, cart close launch, or you can put your course on evergreen. There are pluses and minuses for both, and mainly the cart open, cart close launch is very time consuming and requires a more robust marketing plan, whereas putting your course on evergreen only requires you to work once and automate it. However, live launches are typically more successful and you'll typically make more money with them. One reason for that is that there is no scarcity. So people know that they can purchase your course at any time if they decide to. So that's on evergreen, right? So if it's on evergreen, they can purchase at any time, which can be a problem. So because there is no scarcity built in, you need to use tools that actually help you create scarcity, and such tools as deadline funnel, or you may want to end up creating discounts, or maybe you need to create additional bonuses because you want to, if your course is an evergreen, then you want to attract more people with these other things. Okay, and there are 2 types of people: those who love marketing and then those who hate marketing. And regardless of where you fall, one thing remains unquestionable: to make money, you need a clear and effective marketing strategy. Now, if you absolutely cannot stand marketing, you may want to consider hiring help. But if you're just starting out, chances are your budget is limited. So I'm just going to share just a few marketing tactics that I used and that work for me. Obviously, this is just a few of them. There are more, but for the sake of time, I'll just talk about some of the most common ones. So lead magnet, that's one of them. And this can be a free ebook, a workbook, a checklist, or a very short course with a maximum of 3 to 7 videos, or maybe just audio segments even. Or it can be just a challenge or a quiz. Your lead magnet should be so good that everyone would want to download it, and you want them not only to download, but you also want them to immediately want to buy your paid product, because your free content is so amazing. Your paid content is probably even better. So some people think, okay, it's free, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. No, that's not true. You should actually spend even more time on it than your paid product, because you want it to be absolutely amazing. You want people to just want to buy your paid stuff right away. Guest blogging is another great way to build your audience. And if you don't like blogging, you don't like to write blogs, you can always present for free on other people's summits. You can go live in other people's Facebook groups. With guest posts, you can get backlinks to your own website, which can help you rank better on Google. Guest posts also can position you as an authority in your niche, which is also very important. And that's especially true if you're able to secure a guest blogging opportunity on a popular site. When you do guest blogging or go live on someone else's Facebook group, you get access to their audience. So now more people will get to know you and eventually become your clients. Okay. So lastly, ask for feedback. You want to include a short survey or request for testimonials at the end of each lecture. And you should use any opportunity you have to improve your course. So for example, if someone requests a refund, ask them why. So the more time you put into researching why people decided to ask for a refund, why people liked certain parts of your course, why they didn't like them, the better your course will eventually become and the more sales you will make. So, and to confirm mastery of the objectives, you want to include quizzes and other assignments in your lessons. You should try to add milestone tests and assessments at every level. Pre-testing could help learners find out how much they already know and whether or not they can skip certain sections of your course. Post-testing should confirm whether learners have learned the specific content. And so use online quizzes, use word games, multiple choice questions, as well as text-based answers to assess learners' understanding of topics. And as you assess performance, keep in mind that effective test questions must cover the objectives of the course, and they need to provide constructive feedback. And again, if you end up using iSpring, you can include a variety of test questions. You can use different interactivities to make your course even more interesting and engaging. So today we briefly covered the steps to designing a course that sells and helps you make passive income. Obviously, it's impossible to cover everything in 1 hour. So today, I just looked at the basics. I just very quickly went through the steps. If you take one thing away from this masterclass, it would be the fact that with the right system and framework, you should be able to create successful online courses that sell and get amazing reviews. But today, I really wanted to introduce my Complete from Idea to Course program that teaches you how to create profitable courses. The program consists of 16 modules, and there are multiple lessons in each module. So module 1 is all about mindset, because mindset is actually important for anyone who wants to successfully sell courses. Then I teach you how to come up with keywords, how to conduct keyword analysis. Module 3 is all about finding your niche, choosing your preferable topic, conducting audience analysis. So I'll teach you the strategies to select the topic that will sell and analyze your audience so that you will be talking to those who need your course and not to everyone. And this will ensure that you attract the right audience and as a result, sell more copies of your course. In module 4, we'll discuss the topics of courses you can create. And then module 5 is all about adult learners, learning styles, personalization of your course. In module 6, we'll talk about memory and how you can design your courses so that your learners actually retain the information and then it stays in their long-term memory. In module 7, we'll talk about crafting effective, measurable, and attainable learning objectives. Module 8 is all about planning your course content. We'll cover the 6 principles of effective e-learning. We'll identify content for each learning objective. I'll also teach you how to create curriculum outline. And this module covers scripting and storyboarding as well, and we'll also look at creating reusable learning objects to help you repurpose the content you create. Module 9, in that module, you'll learn how to present your course content. So we'll talk about gaining learners' attention, making your courses more engaging with scenarios, storytelling, videos, voiceovers. We'll also cover some graphic design principles you need to know to make your courses visually appealing. And then in module 10, we'll talk about implementation. We'll also look at the different hosting options. In module 11, we'll cover marketing plan, marketing strategies. We'll talk about pricing your course in detail. We'll also get into list building. And then module 12 is all about social media marketing. Module 13, we'll talk about launching your launch plan, sales funnels. I'll share the perfect webinar framework that you can use to actually market and sell your courses. In module 14, we'll talk about your website and the component that it should include. So what should your profitable website include so that it can help you sell your courses? We'll also cover testimonials, and I'll teach you how to collect effective testimonials that will help you sell your courses. Module 15 is all about copywriting, and here we'll talk about writing effective copy, generating a course title that will attract buyers to your course, and we'll also learn about writing effective sales letters. And finally, the last module, module 16, is all about scaling your course creation business through automation and outsourcing. I'll share my best tips and tricks for outsourcing without breaking the bank, and we'll also share the tools I personally use in my course creation business and highly recommend that you consider using them too. Okay, and now if you have any questions, I know we're out of time, but I can answer some of your questions. How do you complete?
Thank you so much for the presentation. We have a couple of questions, and the first question is from Sam. He's asking, pricing is essentially gas.
So if I understand the question correctly, yes, you're basically looking, I recommend looking at your competitors, checking out the prices for similar courses, and then making a decision. How much information do you actually include in your course? Do you have more information than your competitors? Do you have less information? And then not only look at that, think about the live sessions. Maybe your competitors actually have a lot of live sessions, and you just want to offer, an evergreen course that people buy and watch on demand. Then obviously the price will be less, as opposed to if you have, let's say, like Facebook live sessions every I don't know, on weekly basis or something. So essentially it's a guess, but then you need to really consider your target audience. And the only way to do that is by doing your research and seeing how much your competitors charge for similar courses. Does that help?
I hope that yes. Thank you very much for covering this question. Ezra is curious what can be measurable in a course such as on emotional intelligence or effective listening.
Again, I need to see your content. Exactly what is it that you're teaching? Are you teaching them how to become more emotionally intelligent? Are you giving them specific strategies? Then you want them to be able to apply the strategies, and then how are you going to measure that they actually use the strategies? So there's several ways to measure that. Obviously, but application is the best way to do that. So how can they apply? I'm not sure which strategies exactly you're teaching, but how can they apply the strategies that you're teaching to their everyday life? You can give them specific scenarios or situations and have them actually apply the things that you're teaching and then see how well they do. So that can be measurable in that way. You can also, as far as the effective listening goes, then that's pretty much the same thing. You also need to look at what exactly you're teaching there and what are the strategies that you're using, and have them apply the strategies. So I always go for application and scenario-based learning. So if you can't have them specifically apply something, go out and apply in the real world, then you want to create an environment where they can apply it within your course. So come up with different situations, simulations, scenarios, and then have them apply it there.
Thank you so much. And the next question is from Andrew. How do you process online learning that competes with equivalent classrooms courses?
So think about your classroom course. So let's say your classroom course is 8 hours, right? If it's 8 hours, obviously it requires a live instructor. If you have an on-demand course, it cannot possibly be priced in a similar way. It will be a lot less. So again, you can't compare those courses. You have to look at what your competitors offer as far as the online course goes. You can't think about how much would you want to make an hour. How much money do you want to make an hour? So let's say your course, you have a 1 hour course, or and then let's say you want to make $50 an hour, just saying. Then how much do you want to, how many students do you want to have, or how many students should actually purchase your course at this point so that you can make the desired amount of money? So you can think of it that way. You can just basically calculate it, or again, look at your competitor and see how much they're actually pricing. What's their price for a similar course? There is no way to actually translate an in-class training to an online course as far as the pricing goes, because again, the resources are very, very different. It requires a lot less resources. With e-learning, with the on-demand course, you basically spend your time, you develop it once, and it's there, and all you need to do is basically just answer some questions once in a while. Whereas the live instructor is always there and may even have to travel. So that's a whole different thing. There is no way to really compare these courses. No equivalent there.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
As far as I can see, we don't have any questions. So thank you, Marina, for covering that interesting topic. And thank you, everyone, for attending that. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. Bye.